Kudala dala kwakunokudula lembano phakathi kwezilwanyana. A Snake's Tale, a Southern African folk tale. Long, long ago, little Mantis crawled across the dry earth, his throat parched, his eyes bulging. He was not alone. The other animals were thirsty too. Rain had stopped falling. It had been so long since they had seen showers. The youngest creature didn't even know what rain was. And when their parents spoke of rain clouds and storms, the young looked very shocked. Huh? What is that? Huh? Now, at the sunset, the moon looked down at the poor animals and felt such pity. She decided she must warn all the animals. And so she called down to the little Mantis, who looked up at her and called, "Go with your children and all the beasts to the other land. There you will find all the water and all the fresh fruits of all the land." The moon called. "But where?" Mantis asked, and the sound of his voice was so scratchy, for his throat was parched as dry as the ground at his feet. "Walk towards me," the moon said. "As I sit, I will lead the way. Tell all the others to gather their belongings, and we will depart before dawn." Mantis quickly ran here and there, spreading the word to the birds and the beasts and every single insect he could find. Pack your things, gather your husbands and your wives, sisters and brothers and all your children. The moon will lead us all to the better land. Moon says that soon this land will be nothing but the desert. And if we want to survive, we must go. The elephants, hearing the news, raised up their trunks, and their loud trumpeting sound shook the land. So that everyone came out of hiding place, from the hives of the tree trunks, from the beneath the grounds, from the caves and the crevices. "Where do we go? Where do we go?" they all asked. Mantis stood up proudly before everyone, clearing his throat. "We shall follow the moon," he declared. Everyone was ready, but suddenly Mantis noticed the snake. Huh? Now in those days, the snake was just like every other animal. He too had legs, and he had a family that he needed to take care of. But he was not packing or gathering or preparing to leave. What are you doing, Snake?" Mantis asked. You have to gather your family. We have to get out of here. Pack your things. You must hurry. Soon the moon will be leaving, and we must follow. Snake yawned. He was a lazy fellow. The notion of moving far from home did not appeal to him. Besides, he was so confident. He thought he was so clever. And soon he thought, "Oh, well, why bother. Ha! The rain will come sooner or later, I'm sure. Surely the drought would end and the plants would grow. This is what Snake thought. I'm too tired. I couldn't bother with moving. But you must go with us, Mantis said, as his eyes bugged out even bigger and wider than usual. Please, Snake, please listen to me. Don't be foolish. You can't stay here. You will die of thirst. Snake yawned once again. I'm staying. No, Mantis, it's too late. And it's so dark out now. And I need my beauty sleep. Please don't make any noise when you're leaving. Mantis tried to persuade him to change his mind. And so did some of the other creatures of the veld. The springbok, the meerkattie, the cheetahs, and the lions, and the elephants, and the baboons, and the giraffes, and all the animals of the land. But Snake yawned at everyone's face. And then he crawled up and fell asleep beneath a rock. And when he awoke, everyone was gone. Now Snake looked around. Huh? It was true. The grass was gone, and soon he would be gone altogether too. Maybe he made a big mistake. There was no grass for him to even sleep in, to make a nice bed. And the fat frogs had followed the other animals to the other land, so he could not have any food to eat. So he thought, I'll figure it out later. But the days passed, and the weeks passed, and still no rain, not a drop fell onto the ground. And all the grass dried up and blew away in the dry, dusty winds. By now, Snake was starving. He had never felt such sharp pains in his body before. Oh no! And all his snake children started to cry. And so at last, he decided he must follow the others. He would move to their footsteps. Perhaps they were wise after all. And so he packed up all his family and all his belongings and set off to find the land of water and his friends. The drought had gone on for so long by this time, the land was only desert. And as they walked, Snake's feet and his family felt so hot with the footprints and the sun. His feet started to sink into the footsteps behind the others. The hot sand scratched at their bellies. That evening, as moon rose over them, Snake looked up. "Oh, moon!" he cried. "I am so sorry. I didn't listen to your wise words. I worshipped the sun. Oh, and now it is the sun that will be my destruction. Please help save my life." The moon, always kind, looked down on the poor snake and his family and felt such terrible pity for the miserable creature that she had to do something. She said, "I will make you able to survive the world." At that moment, Snake looked down and saw his legs shriveling up, soon disappeared. Then he saw his body growing thinner and thinner, and when he lay down upon the desert sand, he discovered that he could only cross without sinking. He started to slither. He turned and saw that his family had the same transformation. And so together they set off across the hot sand and found their way to the other animals. Snake's body stayed this way forever, and he remained shy. He still hides from the others, for he still feels so much shame for not believing in the moon. But he never stopped loving the sun, and no one knows if he has ever really changed his lazy, lazy ways. The end. Here we go.